I like Pollock's work. But in the movie of Jackson Pollock, where she's screaming at him, I just want you to paint, you know? And that I think is, that part I think is true. Now, I should talk about my education because I have an ability to draw realistically. It doesn't mean, by the way, I would never say this anyway, but you have to paint from life. All that is bullshit. You can paint any way. If it comes out good, it's good, period. And that's really the final judgment, actually, of a work of art. But I was very good at drawing when I was quite young. And I did very realistic paintings. I did a lot of portraits. Actually, one of the people, when I was in high school, one of the people I painted was John Giorno. He became part of Andy Warhol's group, but he graduated, and I did a painting of him in high school. And I remember when I did the painting, it's really a good painting, I think, but I did the painting. I remember I was paid $45 for the painting. We had a big party, you know, from this, you know, all the people came over, we had a lot of food, it was fun. That's what I used to do. But then I went to art school. Now, this is what I think of art. And I'm a teacher. I studied first. I studied at Cooper Union, which was free. And my parents, by the way, were not exactly supportive of my art. They would never have paid for me to go to college. And so when I got into, since it was a free school, of course, I got in there. I never knew what abstract expressionism was. And as soon as I remember my first painting teacher was Nicholas Marsicano, who was terrific. I mean, he was terrific. I was trying to do a painting, still I didn't know what I was doing. I'm doing this, and I turned the painting upside down, and I started a lot of lines all over the place. And he comes over to me and he says, you know, you got something there. And all of a sudden, I realized this instinctually. I didn't want to do this. I didn't really want to do this. That's not really what I wanted to do. And though I learned things actually from Marsicano, but Cooper Union was at that time a stronghold of abstract expressionism. This is in the 1950s. Well, most of you weren't. In fact, I don't know if anybody was born then here. Most of it was in the 1950s. And one of my teachers was Neil Welliver, who was my two-dimensional design teacher. And I did very well in his class. I like making designs and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to paint that way. And so he told me to go to Yale, which, you know, he was one of, and Joseph Albers taught there. You all should know, I guess, Joseph Albers is, I guess, the most famous teacher I studied with. He taught at the Bauhaus when he came, and then he ended up running the department at Yale. And he, of course, hated abstract expressionism. By the way, I like abstract expressionist paintings. This is the difference. I don't want to do it. And that's one thing that artists should remember. Like artists who are told, let's say you have a feeling to do you're an abstractionist, and you're told, well, you have to paint realistically first. That's bullshit. That's not true. It's just not true. It is historically proven that it's not true. You know, you have to find yourself. Otherwise, there is no reason to be an artist. There is no reason to be an artist unless you do something that comes really, in a sense, from inside. And you cannot think of money. That's another thing which is absurd. You know, this is not exactly a money-making business. It's something that you really have to do in the sense that you work with. And then when I was studying, there was one teacher. I must say I did learn something from Morris Cantor. He was my second painting teacher. And if I was honest, I must admit, he showed me. He would. If I showed him paintings like this, he would throw me out of school. His class. He didn't like realism. And he didn't want me. I always wanted to paint the figure. Now that's another thing. I think this is essential. I mean, I have friends who are wonderful landscape painters. I don't think I could really spend a lot of energy on a landscape. It wouldn't excite me anyway. I love painting people. I love the way people look. This is not, and I notice, I think this, you see, by the way, I painted nudes in the past, but there are no nudes in this. A nude is not exactly a person. Let's put it this way. And nude is not a person. And nude is somebody without their clothes. And then a lot of artists are nudes, because, for erotic purposes or something like that. But people have faces. So I love looking at people, and I love people's faces. And I think people are beautiful from the time they're babies till the time they're 90, in their 90s. Everybody has this unbelievable beauty, really, and exciting. So I always get, no matter who I paint, the oldest person I did paint was Bernarda Shaw. Ben Shaw, she's a great painter in her own right. But Bernarda was 98. I love looking at her. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's somebody like my friend John Naw, who is 96 now, it's terrific looking. So it's all, it's just this thing about people. But then I'll say this technically about my work. I don't like doing straightforward portraits in which you just have, let's say, like a blank background. I just like doing, I began to feel when I started again doing the figure that the best thing about good figure painting was their integration into the background. And then all of a sudden the background started overwhelming the figure in a certain way. And then but I'll go into that in a minute. One of the other things, though, that I must say that Morris Cantor told me in class was he wouldn't let me paint the figure. He had a very thick Jewish accent. He says, "What do you want to do?" He said, "I'm trying to get a likeness." Really? What's wrong with that? He wouldn't let you paint it. Now, let me tell you, I would have failed the class. So I ended up doing, and you fail one class, you're thrown out. It's a scholarship school. You got sick, which wasn't your doing. If you were out, let's say, for 6 or 7 weeks, you're thrown out. That's it. They don't care, because it was all a scholarship school at that time. And so I had to do still life actually in his class. But then he did say something which is, I think, true about me. I think it's a natural instinct with me. I can handle a lot of separate elements, together. So I still life. Then when I got to Yale, I met the real Nazi guy, which I'm sorry. That was Joseph Albers. I mean, Albers, I like his paintings. I'm not going to say, he's a good painter, but he was a real authoritarian. I mean, you could, it was like unbelievable when we came into that school. The teachers, even Wellever, who was a gutsy little guy, who was really almost snotty sometimes. To people, he was like standing at attention with this man. It's like unbelievable. It was like an unbelievable thing. And he kept saying, painting his color, which is partially true of his idea of what color, in a sense, is. And I wanted to paint. When I was at Yale, I then really wanted to paint the figure. And I owe Albers one thing, I must say. Because Albers didn't believe that figure drawing was even important. He thought that people were supposed to be able to, Dallas, you want a chair?
No.
You sure? Okay. That people were supposed to be able to draw bicycles, paper bags, and stuff like that. So whenever you see people show you their portfolio, you see a bicycle or a paper bag, and you knew they were taught by a student of Albers. So I got into this habit. I got into a habit when I was at Yale. I lived very badly. I had hardly any money, but I got into the habit of simply inviting, people up to my apartment, and I'd give them a spaghetti meal, and they'd close me. I had no money. I was going to pay. Now I pay $25 an hour. So that got me into the habit of painting, actually, and drawing. Started with drawing in those days, and then doing, and then putting the drawing on the canvas and then figuring that out. Okay. Then actually, that was good. But after I got out of Yale, I had a Fulbright. I got a Fulbright, but I didn't get a Fulbright for my paintings. I got a Fulbright actually for my woodcuts. I did woodcuts in those days. They were both figures and landscape actually. And I went to Paris. And I literally almost had, it was really hard, I must say. I really had almost what would be considered an aesthetic nervous breakdown when I was in Europe. I was learning a lot about abstract painting. And so I remember seeing a production in Paris of it was one of Wagner's opera. Oh no, it was Tosca. And I remember seeing that the background kept coming forward, because that's what abstract painting deals with, bringing up the background and not appearing. And I would sweat. And I tried to do a painting there, to finish a painting there. Oh, yeah. And so then, when I could try to finish a painting, and I couldn't finish anything, I was not able to finish one painting in Paris. And then I wasn't interested in doing woodcuts anymore. I just used that to get the photograph. And then I just did drawings, a lot of drawings in black and white. And then when I came back from Europe, I had a lot of friends who were also rebellious, basically against against the teachings of both Albus and also the abstract expressionists in a way. Not entirely, I shouldn't say entirely. And we formed a gallery, a cooperative gallery in New York called the New York Six. It was on St. Mark's Place. Actually, St. Mark's Place has changed so drastically in the last, I don't know, since the 60s, the early 60s. I can't even find where the place was. So I know it was downtown. I did a lot of watercolors and stuff like that. Now, I was petrified to paint realistically, to be honest. I mean, my teaching was so strong. It was how to use abstract color, and so I ended up hooking on to Matisse in those days and Bonnard, and I was doing paintings that really weren't, as good as anything that they certainly would do. And even if I understood it, I always used abstract color. Now, I have this to thank. My friend Bob Ermelin, he's a great painter. He has a show that opens tomorrow in New York at the Louise Ross Gallery. And he told me, he said, Mel, he said, your drawings are getting more and more realistic and your colors abstract. They don't go together. And if you know Matisse's paintings, Matisse distorts his drawing, Avery distorts his drawing, so that he can use abstract color. So I decided towards the end of the 60s that I was going to paint realistically. And it's ironic, because at the end of the 60s, I met my wife. Fell in love, and I got married in 1968. I got married, and then I was trying to paint realistically. It took me 3 or 4 years before I was able to complete a painting that was really satisfactory. I had to learn how to paint. Because if you're painting everything flat, what's the problem? But I wanted to get the whole canoe and put a lot of detail in. So that took me 3 or 4 years or so. But then I got a job in Trenton. I got a job. It's very difficult now for artists to get teaching jobs. But in the 60s, they were coming out of the trees. All the art departments were expanding, and I got a part-time job at Queens College, teaching, what did I teach in Queens? Woodcut. I taught drawing at Columbia, and I taught an adult education class. But when I got married, I thought I should really, since I had a wife, I should support her. So I should get a full-time job. So I got one. I got this letter saying I should meet from Mercer County Community College, which I, of course, had never heard of, Trenton, which I've hardly ever heard of. And I was supposed to meet these 3 guys at a hotel in the American. I remember coming in, and there was Sam Willard was there. Some of my former students would remember Sam. He was the best champion we ever had. He was unbelievably wonderful. But he hired me. I remember when I came in, he said, "Oh, you went to Cooper Union." I went to Cooper Union. You're in. You got the job. I showed them I could draw. They wanted somebody who could draw. No, but there were other people there who could draw, but they were doing abstract paintings at the time. So finally, I got the job, and I must say this. Thank God. I think my wife, and also I should say this, living in Trenton. Now, I know there are some people. There is nothing to do in Trenton. Let me tell you, let's face it, you know New York, there are 5 million artists. You go to somebody's house one week, you look at their work, the next week they come to your house. You know, so and everybody has an opinion, you know, I mean, it's like insane. In Trenton, there's nothing to do, so, and my wife, let me do it. So all I could do was paint. So even though I had a full-time job, you know, and teaching at the community college, it's not just teaching. You know, the 4-year schools have it easy. Sometimes, you know, the teachers complain. You have to do a lot of extra work. There's, you know, take care of students, all this other stuff, do things, extra things. I didn't mind doing it, but I painted a lot. I painted more. I painted a lot more.
Wow.
And so I was able to develop, actually, the way I eventually, my realism, which is what I wanted to do. Now, in the development of that type of painting, one of the things that I did in the beginning, I didn't know how to go about doing this. I would start a painting, and then it took me so long to figure out the composition, you know, how to do and stuff like that. I decided to use a limited palette. I used about 8 colors in that. It took me years to finish a painting. Then finally I decided I would do a drawing with a model, and model was almost always my wife in the beginning. And so then, you know, somebody's in my house, and then after my wife said, I'm sick of this. Go get your students. So then I used to get several of my students, most students here, all of whom I painted, you know, but not in my house. A lot of students then came to my house, and then in 1991, I had something strange happen. In the sense of my painting. I did 2 paintings of my children in their rooms. My daughter Francesca, in fact this show should be called Francesca and everybody else, because there were 4 paintings with my daughter in it. And my son Joshua. And my son had this room that was, I didn't like my parents, so I wanted my kids to like me. I don't do anything he wanted to in his room. So him and his friends graffitied the whole room up, the ceiling, wall, and some things with you know, with curse words and stuff like that. My daughter likes, you know, strong female people, and so she ended up, there were posters all over the place. So I did their rooms, which I consider actually iconic paintings, and then all of a sudden I realized that the background told you something about that. In other words, it told you about something about that. And then I did a painting in 1996. It's now, that's my painting, which is now the Whitney owns, which is my office mate, Lou Draper, who I love. He was a photographer. He died in 2000. He was a great photographer. But the office was, it was like one of these things, if you threw garbage out, if I threw something out outside the door, Lou would come in, pick it up and say, why are you throwing this out? I used to have to go into another building if I really wanted to have something thrown out. Then I realized after I painted Lou, and I put one of Lou's photographs in, and he's a great photographer, one of Lou's photographs in the painting, that room told you something about Lou. By the way, he knew where everything was in every single box in that room, but he couldn't control himself. So I realized at the back, I should start doing paintings that deal somehow or other with the people, where is the people's place. So I started going to other people's homes. Several of you were here. I had keys to people's houses. If I was dishonest, I could really make a fortune. But I only wanted to pay people. So I would pay people actually in their homes. And actually, what Donna showed, I never realized it. I always often ask people if they were artists, you know, children, you know, I wanted to paint their thing. Because this is, I know how important this is. No artist it's like, you know, it's like it takes a village, and I hope she's president, by the way. It takes a village to, you know, to raise a child, and it takes, in a certain sense, a village to create an artist. No artist does this entirely by themselves. You really need a certain support system. Teachers, members of your family, who knows what, friends, it doesn't, in a sense, it doesn't really matter. So I wanted to paint people that it's a narrative in a certain sense, that it would tell you something about the people who are in the painting. And then just technically speaking, I was using eight colors all the time. And then I was also doing, in 1980, I had like one of these epiphanies, I guess, in which all of a sudden I realized, the background seems to mean more to me in terms of the composition. I'm very interested in composition, the way a painting is composed. That I should maybe draw that first and then place the people in the room. And so where's Mary? Yes, is Mary